ngaro na la wato kuma ta baki asira linga da fo ko woni founding kila
hey elafta maboro la bang kalpo efa igiso eseo na yuna jang ibadin kilalto kati yuna wallet ibe falindiro ke kan sandiri nyat
ni la yuna wallet o si muna fanno tulo yabo mano kandrin en fenja ma jama isi sanno la yuna wallet o kono yalla kamo soto ila wallet o kono
alkana la kondanol tay ka yuna wallet anatan tolle rukan na balwo fanondi abe sono yaren ko bulu podo nela mobile scan yo science ise maboro ke wato men diate
ko be sandro ke fangole ba ko ba ke kan dimbalem isi ñu lonko e sandro se yona enterprise wato wati ani la yona wallet tola e be lan kam soto kay la wallet ko kono
alina natafun nanyi yuna dimbayal tan kasandiro ke yuna biti foto alina kata nyin ko kentat na sura fa lolu si sandiro kije se maboro fanan keje
moro jundi ana nyum ko di mabal ni kadeda
Assalamu alaikum badingol ngal bismillah na program o ton kabo min nati jang aramisa again bijane bi another Thursday kana kacha nati mbe dendi bankola kola of course be with me I have Mr. Manneh formerly with the ADB but an executive member of the UDP. Mr. Manneh, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, Fatou.
To look at the SONA, but then we had the MPs here. But today we will look at a lot of things, including the SONA and also Bill Solmini Alonko. They're being tabled, vetting bill, and also the election bill. I think it's important to look at the election bill.
Absolutely.
Of course, also we have Modou Lamin Manjang. Is the president of the Concerned Gambians, Minalonko. It's only a protester against the judicial officers bill and the National Assembly bill. Mr. Manjang, Kerr Fatou.
Thank you very much.
Today, first, before Ngatawu to Mr. Manneh, I want us to look at what's trending. What was trending last week was the story by Mulligan. Fabla First Legal Foundation,
the Republic.
The Republic, Mustafa, Republic Mulligan. But yes, by the Republic, Mustafa Kedawo. We had Mustafa on the platform last week, and Mustafa's stories about the foundation, allegedly Foundation 2021. Container Kinan to the Ministry of Health and container in Nata 8 months Ministry of Health ma donation lo ma clear items worth over $468,000 clear and GRA Nata Oxinia Wafi Moya sang I donate to the FAB Foundation and FAB gave it Mustafa I will say but now discussed last week FAB replied and in their press release, they issued, they said that they donated these items in September 2023. They said it was donated to the Center Medical Store. It was received by, I think, Babandin Sabali and another lady. But we can confirm that in September, when they were donating those items, Babanding was not at the Central Medical Store at that time. Okay. He was redeployed in April 2023, while the donation happened in September. So I don't know, maybe Mine was up, but also in a press release for Naye Kudu for raise me along still, I think Gambian Tatambela Wala. They said it was donated to the foundation by an anonymous donor. We have seen if somebody is donating items worth over close to $500,000
yes, that's
to the foundation.
Over
that's
$30 million.
I guess
transparency.
Yes. And then I will continue to donate. I donate 5 special interests, but now you would have but the fact that they are telling Osco, me I donate, Imato Fonye is an anonymous person. I think for me that's where the accountability that I keep saying go. Yeah. Foundation onye, the accountability part me alonko mulman fellonje. Jumale ka kodo dile kadila
dalili jumale
kama. The fact that Fab ka fonye ko nimu anonymous donor, did that raise any questions for you as a person? The response ni?
Absolutely. I mean, Fatou Barrow is the president's wife. President Wala Muso. Yena ye donation o di wala. Me aka seta dal si million tan sabati. Because $468,000 near falling at today's interest conversion rate was seta dal si million tan sabati. Yo ta ya di president Wala Muso la. Ya di la munekam. Ye la munela je. Because so take a donation to Yamaron Karnata, it left like a molu so drunk. If you tell you demo dollar for Rotaban and Bankolka. Often a Jotaban and Banko Camelia Lonko, Alia Timol Bedami. Istakara Motumiako, the Nola Caramol Jono. Istalpian Mobilari, Mela Lutan Catoli Jono. Isula Jamal and Marco, not Nemanta Diwala, that had the personal Muswala.
Yeah.
For me, ye la kula ye. Ikakula nyini wote, ikakula nyini president bula ni president musobu. Ka ni wonte mna ni bitaya di wala. Million tansaba. Gambia dala so. Imo di kensenke. Ikana fanye kusakoni kunya ko miya di yakon kana atofa. Muna na man lafiya atofa. Ka na riyo kala pour ka molu makoy. Ni tata ya samba aliya timol ya samba jama wolto ya samba fuare bunda dolto. Nsafa ko yo kala fi sabilillah man fu mo ya kala muta. But ni yadi president la musola wonte fi sabilillah o kule be ko meka kule nyini so te ya fonye jumale yadi katu ni wo ma fonye ni wo mari tara o DB sama e contract di wala kudo di wala ngalon ko nyinat na yadi so wala be keren katu ngajele million $35 million di Fatou Barrow la njang e ko ngene biringa yin ka president ko ha nyen tata malal num mam fon ko man na plenol jono so ko do transfer na musola account why ala muso manke government treasury man ko transfer account para ko ya transfer account pour il ta mojo o manyen na kala welu wati nyala folo bar bere moli ofo mol complainta wala yo excuse for soldi amam me mi yo kodo di e contract di ala navek so sulu tambita bare on kumbota ya molo fa ko nyina sabu so nyindo fana yana $30 million plus ta yadi Fatou Barrow nyintal jumale ya di karu sama ne contrat ko di nyintal jumale ko di contrat ko di min so nyim ban kon kanyina fu wati nyin tilimbali ya be kering nyin tinyaro be kering nyin sunyaro ni nyin corruption be kering karu nyin it marks of corruption to high heaven. You cannot tell me that ning ayatara momi yalon ko Fatou Barrow Foundation. It's a charitable organization. It's La Forod.
Yeah.
It's a non-profit organization. La Forod. Woluka kodo min di ka publicize le. Isaje monu salon kodo dundaka duntanyin tole ya Kenya dile. Jumale ya di. Because imbo fason mala fi moyo kodo de mi yalon ko is suspicious. Momi yalon ko moli si kala ko to kula. Kat wale moli for example illegal activities to dol sita drug dealing la dol sita in some crime of some sort prostitution and some be kasatole e man la fi yema yo ko di pour as protection money so ni man la fi wala e ka fa karle adi ay nankam le di in salon ko mi ya di amadi fenka ma pour ka feñirin bara di la pour ka ma koy ro so si fon si do fana encourage fana ko do di bari yenta fa la jumala ya di ni mo fo dron hakili je nyawso to je so andu mi fa ma jawendi wala ko nyin ko siata nyi masa kunda kono de amanke kilinta amanke fulati amamme ko man tu jam fana Fatou Babaro, after so many years at the foundation, almost 8 years, you launching ceremony, inaugural ceremony.
Yeah.
Now, one Nigerian guy, not away, $1 million for them pledge.
Pledge, yeah.
Nigerian in the Gambia, is in oil business. And at $1 million pledge for the Babaro Foundation. So welcome to Health Energy. Munat na we odila wala. Dia la muna kama kamuna nyini. So nteka wale fawatu nkon kana utara na oil business sol kono jang. Na oil exploration adi nyino kana taraji. Ninga taraji will Sudan.
So you see Falu niaje, for example, number one, you raised the 35 million jang ngamira wokata fendi mi alonko mo jamaya raised no, there was a slogan fab kodole, and government nata they gave us an excuse and they promised to be transparent about the entire thing. Manna fe mo na manke Ibrahim Silla going to the radio and just covering of saying some things there. But nyindong fanang is the same thing. Republican Union story break. Because Naming realized the same Babanding, Yamin Fokowole items will receive, was the same guy who wrote to the GRA in April of 2024 asking for the same container. Kenyan Ngala, the container mean Nata Abidjan, even though I'm not responsible for them GRA. Natra no Babanding and Bagas will receive no. This kind of container, the same equipments and all the stuff. Would it make sense that he's the same person who's also writing to GRA asking for the same container?
Even before that found, Nijum container from Yakina, Yaniba killer, months before Yaki, Utumo like a communication okay to the government and the people concerned.
Yeah, we did it.
Benin container killer nang, Laftala Ale Makwe, tax exemption soto, and be able to Nabundi Juna Kataka port call. Because now port Nina normally 10 days later till time. Not a metal demore jola. So it can feel well in advance. You have to container banko swala in carrying ministry carrying carry the time. So I didn't mark Juna exemption also. So me normally will be application of some Ministry of Finance. We are receiving a container for $160-something thousand of medical equipment and facility. Alim mark waiver. Because in move me along command now wafir kama. And that book medical facilities. So what is easy tax exemption sort of. So you tax exemption sort of before when you will learn from. Because then they will send the bill of lading and everything and they'll be prepared at Alioland. Neo sort of council Janin of satellite from be parade. By the time you you exemption of some customs and GRA, ya bula ya bondi, even you a few bit of administrative charges port go jolly. Normally some tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah, finted. Itayaki. So Nina Banyama. Me and container Joe. Sang. Because what's important for now, a container some minna less than 1% of the value of the container. 200,000. Container mi yalonko, mimba kono is over $30 million. A certain million tons of dollars. Iti na yo sang uli keme fulala. Come on. So jani yo kela. Yuta usan na wala. Ning omari ta ni parfait ma ko rola wala bita ta GRA yeta Ministry of Finance ya fa alim ma ko nyin container fidde. Fatu babaro fana nyen can do that.
Ima mira fananko cooperation between ministries. For example, GRA is a parastatal under the Ministry of Finance.
Yes.
Ministry of Health is a department, of government department. And then Ministry of Health, according to the story, Ministry of the clearing agent sent the bill of lading with the bill, I think about 60-something thousand, if I'm right.
That's the normal range.
To the Ministry of Health, container I was in there. Ministry of Health had written to the Ministry of Finance pruka clearance sick pro waiver because donated items on is coming to the government. Ka waiver sick, that waiver was never acted upon by the Ministry of Finance.
Yes.
But again, Ministry of Health fanang kari jelu.
Ma follow
It fanang mela
follow
clear no to the point for GRA ba wafila. Now GRA fanang, do they play a role in this? Because it all I mean, they are revenue collectors. They want to collect their money. Should we blame them or should we blame the ministry? Mini halongo ite alne ko yimbor jama kana ite la custody to. Ite le nyanta banku di wala jaral fe wala nyinte. Inyanta lola kaje ko wonatale. Who should we blame here for this?
Primarily, Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance.
Okay.
GRA accessorily. Because Minister of Finance, Minister of Health, because he cabinet killing on it. Ni la molu ko kon na ñing container bi na yela request samba to Ministry of Finance for a tax waiver, tax exemption. Asita amanna nim follow budget. Milia samba iba for minister nga ñing ki Ministry of Finance bare man fe do follow container bi in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. Can you follow up? Minister ba follow Minister of Finance nga na keto kina liya bare man fe je follow de. Can you help move it? So o minister follow the matema, it shouldn't take more than 1 week. The Minister of Health you inform, call Minister of Finance in Nakaito Balale Makwe. Minister of Finance, under normal circumstances, will give instructions à la ministry in clear. If I clear, it will take a week.
Okay.
I was working at the President's office under Jawara. And at part, I was working on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I dealt with these exemptions from embassies and the rest. It doesn't take a week. You can process that very quickly. So the primary responsibility, Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance.
Okay.
GRA is an agency on the Ministry of Finance. Ning ayaje ko nyong container futata is a donation coming to the Gambia government. I would have expected that GRA, the minister called like and you container soto jande and we got to move it because nima move the mortgage be start lale. And even that, they can make an exemption on demurrage.
And then you give them a normal billing.
Yes, and they are telling they are funding. But more mama nying quarto. Munat na finance mama, munat na health mama on time, munat na GRA ba tuski. I baby siri be kukilung batun. And then all of a sudden, GRA will come back wafil. You skip for 8 months or more. Janal be fukaraji. Lungi na wuli aria oxen. Why can't you move the process because GRA is there to collect revenue for the state. Because revenue is for the state. Imboro is for the state. It's the same community of interest. So Ningabanyama Ministry of Finance, la agency GRA, will call the minister, so what do we do? Can you help us move this? Or can we, we want to give an exception? It reforms okay, no reform. So they move that, and I think and help the people. But it's like complicity lebije. So let's see for last minute, and then Oxen, GRA is supposed to get money for those things. All right? Is to get revenue for the state. So how come GRA or Oxen for less than 1% of our interest? That doesn't make sense.
They just want to collect their tax money.
But that's not it.
Okay.
Tax money is Oxen is for more than that.
Okay.
So it doesn't make sense. It's a whole lot of complicity around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to bring before Mr. Manneh along, because we look at corruption globally for them, your party leader raised the question Barola land issue some months back, and Ahmad Ba promised to respond. And he did. And I said this on my show here the day ago. Somebody told me, from the ministry, or the only response that you will hear is that Kodabo Fanea Sotol. And I said that here on my show. They responded and they said, Baro, like any other citizen, as a land sotonole. Because Luale would be Sotonole. They also said, Mr. Dawa himself, land during Jawara time, and they also said our family members benefited it during his time. And I think, I don't know if that is right. Because during our time as an official, because I do know our spouse, one of our spouse, were Sotole, but that was in 2021.
Yeah.
Before the presidential election. The reason why I knew about it, somebody raised it, new Minister Kari, and the Mela request has been lying there for years.
Yeah.
Imagine, but just before the presidential election, it was approved. So I remember somebody was telling that Amanya Natala Fandoko, no, why? She's a Gambian, she should take it. Yeah. Because I applied it through the process. I decided that was not in cabinet.
Exactly.
Then. So that I can confirm. Yeah. I don't know about the other family members, but our spouse, that I know was time that he was not in cabinet.
Yeah.
But this was the response. Iko, tahu fana ko dan ngono pipeline, man sakunda property law as a general time. Ala musona dingol fana ya setole property so. Is that the kind of response as a party have been to government?
No. Then there are a couple of points. Follow Mr. Dabo Yenyem for a press conference on the 3rd of June. June Karoti Lisabwa. Iko ambe jinkumo jabilale. Is it for calculating tamita 3rd of July? Yeah. Later reply. Yeah. Biri reply ke muna for yemin foten. Mr. Dabo fana korda sotole. So nga korda di president na manya na complain. Okay. Imam min for moli. Yeah. Mr. Dabo ye ken ole soto. Yeah. Kene kensem. Ye wole deal. Okay. Andum wo Gambian ye raya soto application oge. Ye katu ni ko lafta man sakunda ni be kenol di la nyin plakari yam fana makoy je. Ala kaytul ndi wala nyama. Dabo was pipeline sotla bato minna. Afama men foto mo barobe school la fam. This was in the 1980s. Yeah. Then Dabo yin korda soto. Ak kordante keno. Ay keno soto.
And I have people complaining about the cameras saying they are not seeing me. I don't know what's going on. Can you guys check? I don't know what's going on with the cameras. So go ahead. Yeah.
So I cannot mean soto pipeline je utumo. Utumo we unkele kense wala. So ya be demarcate. Ika demarcate le and then ya allot. At ya soto jele or the civil servants are soto je or the businessmen and other Gambians are soto je.
Yeah.
Almost the loyalty me alon luale ola. So niyo demarcate ka di mo la ni application of. Our application like ya deal. Utumo Dabo manta politics fan. He was a lawyer.
Yeah.
In the Attorney General's chambers. I think can also.
Yeah.
Ala musoya apply ala for the family members will apply.
Yeah.
Niye ukartol dundi ne tray ya ko qualify tale. Yidula soto keno soto is keno dila. Ni adile fon ya ta ya law. So will your application like. Ning ayatara non fang in this case Bible musoya soto bata me government is have high ala influence use but we have government non fang but not have a government fang.
Yeah.
She is entitled to keno soto. Okay? But among keno soto for birin Dabo got a government. But we find mo diala keno kensen wo diala. Nyimmin fatata je kufula. Follow man keno diala. E masakunda la kordal ta ya swala. Masakunda la kordal mo bika woni. Ning aya tara ite danyanto soto je ike fuwalale. Comme ngata fu state house la nyami. State house na fuwalale.
Yeah.
Gambian tolle tam Gambia dingol. Nga fuwala ni lumi Nigeria 2026 nga bondi je. Vice President na keno di fanan. Korda di fanan. Maso na stela je.
Yeah.
Odum fango yi luwati nya. Kat na ma seyana steta ya ay stea ya. Bari manya na masakunda la ko do tala nga dun la sufu na kala suuda da.
Yeah.
On desilati. But still adun taje that's another corruption. Adun taje la suuda da so Vice President bumira rin 15.
Yeah.
So lumu keno timi yara ko masakunda le tam. Nyim fanan Chief Justice wala suwama. Momentara nun je espace yestonyal bari wo martin na ke kene ay ke fenti mi ko masakunda satalo aya ni iman la soto pour ka woni government ka kenol min diwolen kene kenson de kamil dada. Second point na loi min for State Lands Act ala section 5 schedule 6 ay min fo wolen ning aya tara momo yekeno soto nyimban ko kan itola korda.
Yeah.
Ning masakunda korda dila imanya na dile tela.
Yeah.
Ite soto foka bang.
Yes.
Momo nyata korda kilin soto lale.
Yeah.
Ni ma soto isa apply no. Ya deal. Ni lo ya Dabo ya application pour afon ita dila la no. because I can sort of under his name.
Yeah.
But Barrow seated in 2021 declaration for the presidential elections. I called them for Warawula, or even more.
Yeah.
I Minnesota, Mankamukunda, to Jereng, Foot Heights, Tanje, Jabang, Talinding, etc. I will be continuing in Minnesota. So under that State Lands Act, at the money na keno sot la kotek.
Yeah.
But we be kama in that keno ska ya dia la Brufut. Aninga la minister do.
Yeah.
Fana manya na keno fana iluati nyade. As president, Article Section 68 of our Constitution. Konimu presidenti imanya nefa enrich la at the expense of the country. So ni itemu presidenti yela minister fenke kwele keno din nakati wale ketaji.
Yeah.
Ye keno sika ya dealer. You are enriching yourself. Imanya na okela. And that applies constitution to the president.
Yeah.
But it applies to every civil servant. Ni mundu do kola masakundai imanya na leo place wotala wale leo makamo wale ekibaro misotelo makamo kono. Your status or any information received during that period. If you're speaking, ekibaro soro masa wato kono. Imagine na utala ye fang ko kafu. Comme ninte masakunda kono bi. Ngamo yiko de habide mas sanji fula nyato. Masabe kene bade dala jalam bankoma.
Yeah.
Misel babon laje ye kul kala je. Na bori ngata hanke no sanje. Ko kibaro soto. Ngata hanke ne ba sanje da di mala. Ni watu na masakunda fe da sele nga wafi. That is prohibited. Constitutional 68 months so okay. Wala ngata comme nyindo école ministère la fayin kenola ya nyapin kan katim nyapin kan walete. Ya nyapin kan ya dila. Ya lonko chief justice la suwalema. Ya sika ya dila o fana mu nyapin kan dama do man so okay. So wolu be eke fanna makamo ni la sotole kaf. Ila president yakono. Article 68 4D of our constitution man so wala. So nyilo lu amintinya siata. So amad baka min fana ngaku mo kum fawala. Ako handle minister of lands lu way sembodi nale ngani kenol di min diata. Amman ke wotne wala mo abakala discretionary powers le. Mi yalo ko min diata isake.
Yeah.
Lu wa mi ko sembodi mo wala. Min diata woke hani.
Yeah.
Ka fo isinyin nin keno nin saratolu kumbenda.
Yeah.
So nin aya tara
Yeah.
nga kenolu mutatula to nga je fara ko mba dila mol ye kenolu sumanje
Yeah.
luwa ko isi o dinole nata mari application okay.
Yeah.
Application ita di ni nyanta a check la ya control ya vet andu mo mafanye ko baro application le
Yeah.
inta application le kala ita di proper authorities ya check ya vet ya ko be ke na murne ko okay in sontale minister ya sign. Minister bi kasi ya di aka follow la tinafta le minister ka signature to nek asi bala no ka sign ba shi da mata wulon ay kenodi luwa mo sembodi okay bari mbina kuma do fana moy la ko take ka to kenodi o amanda wato dam mara ka boto ka jinan ka biye ngolo golf course kan kulu kete me fana moy la
Bo fana moy.
yes so luwal ka tinyani mako kana luwolong andu wolbe bannale ate wultar ja ko kamalo kenol min ditaji ha nga kenol problème so yibare kaytol filtale kaytol filti dara min to isele minister kaytol filti ma bondi
But what on I feel like min jede.
don't doesn't matter minister mo continue to let ngete nata anyanta fu kaytol dama la fintindi amendo la kafanya kaytol filtale so nyimma sakunda kanyin corruption la fuje karama corruption obije sako Ahmad Ba coming from Ahmad Ba even ke TDM be ko kala mutale so mo be follow yeah.
Charles, I need you to check what is going on. Everybody, is complaining that they're only seeing Mr. Manneh, and even Mr. Manneh is zooming. So even here, that's what I'm saying. It's so zoomed. Even mine also is like zoomed, on the screen. So everyone is complaining. I know you are telling me it's the Facebook app, but it's so weird. That's why people are just getting frustrated. Mr. Manneh.
Yes.
Mr. Manjang, sorry. Atol alla organization or you yenyim kumolwe I mean from the FAB to the presidential allocation of land to himself and the atolka corruption kule kele. First, let's talk about alla organization. Mune awulu, mune atina alko concern Gambians. Mune al concern.
Gambia le more concern tal. Yeah. Ni organization yin. among the opposition meeting we sit as university students. We have a WhatsApp page. We always information Nigeria concerning about Gambia. Yeah. So students send Nigeria about this immigration bill and pension bill of the National Assembly members. So bila send Nigeria, then I take it upon myself that the group to fight for this. Then I have support from other students. Then from there instantly group less than 5 hours we have 600 people in the page. Yeah. So then we always 1 day, 2 days, then group fata 2025 people. Then group on that same day other 600 people. Then we have 1,625 people in the page, which consists of university students, teachers, doctors, even police officers are there in that page. Yeah. So when you start then I open an executive group page. It consists of 6 people. I start five men and 1 girl, but we are all university students. Then although someone called me that university because he said concerns Gambians. So I Gambia Belema. So la fakatara executive en le premier on Monday, then Samba on Tuesday. Yeah. Then you movement for screening on Wednesday. Then more screen then Friday. Yeah.
So Jama Fuko, Charles, the cameras are not good. I don't know if you need to zoom out. I'm watching the program here. I can see these guys only sideways. And I don't know it's the app or what. I know this might not be your fault, but if there's something that you can do, I'm sorry guys. I know a lot of you are watching and you're saying, but the truth is the pictures are very blurry. The pictures are blurry, it's zooming on our faces and it doesn't look good. So I'm sorry about that. People are distracting me. But alla group covering Alia Kumasi, and I saw it, me like so many other Gamela, ni protest or after dulato. But again, because apota dinding all level young people, let's see this time how it goes, because kujama be nyimbangoka na kedare ni ko anga protest rom molka jibe political lenses. You will hear some people even saying, oh, I'll kind of protest ke violence long. And I remember engaging in a conversation telling somebody, no, protest man ke violence day. It's a way of expressing your opinion. And I think you guys Cabral Tata J mimala opinion ti alia fole protest nyeng atata nyade.
Yeah, I come for the ngo jama balem for mo fo ka foko political calling abu ka dulato e ka dama ro yedey. Yeah, we had ngo jama balem for mo but ndol ma wo jibeji ko tenge we see that ndol be fintilale we raise our concerns poli am membe fo kandal and mantra stop kan jam fana. Yeah, many people tell me coming at Findirek and Sia Banda. No, we are not. I want to go for a plan because even Sunday, I'm going to be coming to talk about this below in Natara through Minkela and Binakela. Yeah, I didn't see about it. Political entertainer group. When even you send something that is political, I just delete you from the group. Yeah, because Mojabo group they are from different parties. Yeah, me ango imam party jibe Gambia jibe comme dal this will Gambia concern. So warne yem group yele so one to find jonta ji. So if you send anything that is political, ndol ke boni group ko because I have a group nyalale. Because I don't want them to see us as politicians. When we are not. Even near group for jibe milifang boje student for boje they are not even political science students. Yeah, there is no political science student in my page. executive
so
group.
but group on university because I know a lot of these protests even in other countries university student no leka kumasi binia jube America kabring Israeli Palestine Israel kilombe caring university didn't know le fin the for President Biden he left the money the ceasefire call and others it had bank of Kenya. We'll come to what is happening in Kenya. B nga fo mole yes mol fata jere and moma la fola ndum kadwa o kana ke gambe bari B change sol mingeta je funding ke merangol wala tene op change keta they made demands and government was cornered to the point me along go yela mo yela
they must accept it.
Now atola group on how involved are university students in the group university students will see at jele bang
They are very much involved. As even that for 20 people, almost 16 to 17 people are university students.
Okay.
So already we have they are being university students. Yeah, we receive calls from various people. They don't want us to use the university name. Not once, not twice.
Yeah.
We even get a call from a senior official member.
From the university?
No, from the government.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. About this protest, but we turn a blind eye to it. Because we don't want anybody to discourage us.
Okay.
Yeah, we receive a call from SU Student Union that we should not use the university name when we are university students.
Okay.
Why should we not use the university name? So we are from the university. Because when they ask us, so if they see that mom baby quarter bay is from the university, they will time is as university student or so it knowledge is there and it knowledge. So I started on Yama and group what's popping university group everything for jail. Yeah, political Gambia la school la everything that you imagine tolka for group so a student la senenji then bring a nga below nga read I am concerned and I'm more concerned ji then nga group on yel instantly wal nyama so then nga mo so tamil jointa sa fo mo hafon bebe jabe university student yeah
molko ni ajibe below ni Gambia teacher sola doyata nyawnya ngambare retirement package be bulle police sola doyata nyawnya retirement package tole bari ko jojo la man proper retirement package soto akata nyawnya ifana nyanta sotola now atol ko al concerned about this bill alafta munela total rejection of the bill or falba nyine kan pour bill nyin at least ya edit jani ka pass atol ka munene
no yalo nta fun ko me bill ya reject totally. They also are entitled to have those kind of entitlements. So while Nanko belonging, let them take it back. Ya GB because it mean for ya shatale. Near Gambia population of GB for our theater from Kamaford. So with that kind of bill, you are nothing just to enrich some portion of the government people come just like judiciary and parliament. Then you leave the teachers and other civil servants. For coming, teachers have retirement from go. Yeah, but is it something sufficient? Me and I say, Marco, we need that. And the bill and what they are saying about it all below, it all retirement from go is way different. I see about it. So Gambia it all below Sifano personal, more rasiri kaji wanyama. Couldn't be is too much. I see about that. And Jojo Catalicana. So ya mi no retire the others call me over retire so I Seattle belonging ko in Shabata
sama nyambari ko president's bill passed and alman former president niya jibe wala do yata mol beti ka former president jele be mbul nga mara fula jawara o banda mane mane ka ferkera ni jamme president Barrow man retire fulo but the former president's bill jana mo jamako it was created for the president ndolnga argue jan what happened wala nga je national assembly edit le drong ya edit like ya para pasta now being in president or retired because I don't know who is this for that president's bill because iko jame justice minister ya for the national assembly ko jame cannot benefit from this I also because so that can I don't know how realistic that is because as far as we know court mark convict follow. So he's still former president, but he's not benefiting from it. Now, it looks like maybe President Barrow became a forced president to benefit from that. Wo pasta janne. And wo fanan tonya, below nying kujamale bije mole uro kala janne bari, you guys did not make noise. National Assembly, last the last assembly, they did ilanyim pension scheme kanyiming natina kana formalize la dorong, but already ya increment kela already. Abela fenkol kono kana formalize la dorong ka legalize ka ke loti and all that stuff. Will be keta mojama ko the arms of government when you compliment when you mako e kandoro na president hota pass na deputy fananta pass anga jojo fananta pass then Modou Lamin Manjang and including me is why not magistrates or Mawol DJ? You know, all DJ is just more like the judges and others. So I believe that George, like any other Gambian, should have a good retirement package. Near Banco serve, near Tata Swokono. At the end of the day, there should be something that you could look up to and say, look, this is as a result of me serving my nation. So I believe the judges should have, but I also believe that those in the lower cadre, magistrates, who me along, some of them will never be called to the bench. They will never be judges. They should also have retirement packages. If they retire as a magistrate, they go home with nothing. That is something that I believe, if they are going to go back, they should look at that. And also, Jojo la salary mudalasi lulati na retire tani mudalasi lulumbajola wala for the next 6 years or so. I feel like they could look at that also and edit it. But just at all far feel teleko nyumba nyoda male mako instead of us senelalu teachers olu police olu model.
Yeah, until we see it as something we are planning already. Yeah, from the president bill, judiciary, and parliament. The president alone, those people are the people who make the law. Yeah. So that's why maybe time are coming more la salary sendi la ko sendi sa en kala nyoma ko nimbe bilo nimbe fam pass rek ay raturu. That's how we see it. President bilo nying findere ya mo la jere we see it. We don't take it into consideration at that time. Yeah, because another example ko fanang a telephone bonang protest do phone organize ka mian ko me amanta true. Then ngaje ko maybe amanjare ko min kadunga kono. Yeah, but afasi brin do fa nata nan ngaje ko nyabe siakhane say. Nimman wula ko wala itu lab escalier la nanu dina fenno la jefana. So war na ngayin fanko inde da group protesting organize then ndara true brokake. Yeah.
Allah demands all these speaker.
Yeah, we give our demands.
It was very orderly. Ali protest ke, Allah demands all the speaker. In fact, for the first time, the police will celebrate kanko protest. Your protest manage father kumankeje. I'm like, if you approve all protests, this is what's going to happen. Nobody's going to die. Nobody's going to be tear gas. Even though in the morning we'll tell but that didn't stop you guys. Now, what are you expecting? Are you expecting a response from the speaker and the assembly members, or are you expecting something to hear from them?
Yeah, we're expecting something to hear from them. Because na demand lesson.
What were the demands?
Yeah,
some of them
are coming. National Assembly members will not make decisions. Why is not going back to the people? Will they vote in? Because you are not there for yourself. Yeah. You are there for the people. So you might not get decision make without consulting those people. And the pay scheme. If you see all this corruption, bribery, and other stuff, sorry, remember that now, all those things are part of our demands. There are a lot of demands. I mean, for 8 demands. I mean, Senegal. I mean, Dial. We also have petition people sign. Yeah, Jama petition sign. Online petition and I mean on the ground for now. So more be passed on that day. Yeah, protesting on peacefully. Because they wanted to change our day to a Tuesday.
Yeah.
That happened on Sunday, prior to the day.
Oh, prior to the day.
Yeah. So we have Monsong. young more call several times. I'm not the only person. This one because I'm so you cannot just take decisions upon yourself. So being a Google consult, I said many pages. Even for you, if you accept, don't Tuesday. Because this will have write a formal letter to us that your permit has been changed to Tuesday.
Yeah, but the alcohol letter.
You cannot just call verbally. You have a Tuesday. Tuesday. We don't have permit on Tuesday.
Yeah. Because that was a kind of tactics.
Yeah, so they have all the right come all by swap on definitely.
That was a day before a
day before the protest.
Wow.
That's on Sunday.
Wow.
So during Okero, there was a lady named Makai on that. I will thank him for that. Actually, Makai for you call I call and he diameter. I think for guy like you'll already you'll see it. Because maybe what they thought was yeah, so that was maybe all a mirror. But maybe it was I thought for Nyam coming from more from Jakarta coming there for a maybe more pull out from this. Yeah. But most but most of our coming yeah.
That's the government nature. Mr. Manneh.
Yeah.
I thought Janin can protest UDP. Na party will be a statement opened. As a Falco, our position of follow on this bill. My party our position of follow. Mama Kande our position of follow. I mean all the major parties here are position of follow.
Yes.
I told them position for. I'll be hearing a caller.
Yes.
On even some of your supporters wrote it on Twitter, and Larry was trying to defend. We are consulting. We'll have a position on this, but up to now, I'm not position to you know, UDP is a big party, and you guys have always had positions on issues like this. I mean, if the UDP believe that it is a good bill, it is just right for the UDP to tell the citizens. If they don't believe that it's a right bill, they should also say, no, it's not. But keeping silent on this, anything about the judiciary, because of Wema. Allah election walko ya sunyale bari niko justice asanjala because of moy judiciary ma, because that is more like family to him, and he's been accused of that, and it is showing that the party did not take a position on that because it's the judiciary. Is that the reason?
No, no position tying to follow because we were supposed to have met in the Mastambila, the National Executive Committee. When it becomes that important, sometimes National Executive Committee can meet and we adopt a position for the party and we move forward. And other things happen during that time. That Sunday. So the deferral kind of statement on this. But pending that, we are talking about it. Like I had an interview with one of your counterparts. And the interview lasted about 2.5 hours. And I was very clear about it. I gave my position on it, and I'm against it. I stood up for it, and I said it. And other people in the party have said it. So that is my individual position. Party position of the Nanan. Because one thing people got to remember is UDP, as the name says, is a democratic party. So Ousainou Darboe does not impose anything on the UDP. He is the head of the party. He is the party leader. He is our heads, but we sit and discuss as a group, and we take decisions.
For something like this, me and have a drag count for almost, we're getting close to 2 weeks. Why is it still not that important for the party to take a decision on this? Something, because mind you also, because Nimanke the first time, obviously the first time in last year it was thrown out. And again, to be fair to you guys though, Allah members solo, a lot of them did vote against it. Right? But I know some people who voted against it among your members who told me they are going to vote for it. This time. Yes, I know somebody who I spoke to, he said he's going to vote for it because he believes it's pretty good, you know. But as a party, Femi Alongo last year was Aketano, and then it was stable. People started raising concerns, more opinion on Bondi, more Fengokela. And the UDP is very proactive when it comes to stuff like that.
Yes.
Is it not that important to the party to take a decision on it and let people know what their opinion is? Because whether for or against it is very critical, it's important. A party as big as UDP, people want to know, especially somebody with Lawyer Dabo's caliber, knowing the law and having a lot of vested Fenko, knowing, you know, Lualo Nyaming, not the opinion okay about this. Yeah, like or Ima like, but you know he's speaking from law point of view.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be just right to have an opinion from the United Democratic Party?
Exactly, and that is the point.
Yeah.
From the United Democratic Party,
yes,
not from Lawyer Dabo in this case.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those cases, you do, you damned, you don't, you damned. I feel for will be taken against him because, well, yeah, the family loyalty, that's his natural family.
And the lawyer
so, exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel for wrong. In this case, it will backfire one way or another on him. So rather than let the party decide on this.
Okay.
Let us meet and take a position on this and we decide.
Okay.
So because we don't want him as a person, as a lawyer, a member of the judiciary, because by accused one way or the other.
Yeah.
And it would not be fair to him or to the party.
Okay.
So we're going to decide this as a party, we're going to come up with a position.
So how soon do we see that position?
I think in this coming week, we'll have this
because
position.
next week long, they're going back, I think, on the 15th. Do you think we'll get something before that?
Oh, yes, we'll get something before. I believe we'll get something before.
Personally, what do you think about this bill, personally?
I'm against it.
Okay.
I'm against it. Under normal circumstances, I would want a bill like that to come through for anybody within this administration who deserves it, not just one or two groups of people. We cannot afford bills like this. This government is struggling to pay salaries for the staff. Every end of month, they are struggling to pay salaries. Now, you adopt a bill like this, which is going to add a huge amount of money to the wage bill. From borrowing or from taxes. We've already been taxed into poverty, Gambians. So you're going to raise this bill again, we pass this bill rather, and you're going to raise taxes, because you will probably most probably take a to know this is a recurrent expenditure. Near past B until eternity will pay every year. And every year we'll pay more because there will be more and more judges retiring. So we're incurring a huge bill which we're going to hang on the neck of the Gambian taxpayer. After the judiciary is going to be parliament. And we're going to do the same thing. We cannot afford it. It's as simple as that. The Gambia cannot afford this at this point. Yes, we all want good.
To the bench is because their salaries are not attractive.
Yes.
The retirement package is not attractive. So living a luxurious loyalty, you get a lot of good pay, to go and serve So they want to attract good talent and also professionalism, but they also think it will help in the prove the independence of the judiciary, because if you pay them well, they should be able to independent to the point ko ita mira la ka kodolke bari ni man good salary scale man sotoe, and then they don't have a good retirement package. How do you expect them to be very, very much independent?
We want good, independent, loyal Gambians going to the bar and becoming judges.
Yeah.
But let's look at it this way. Don't we want good, independent police officers in the Gambia?
Yeah, we do.
Don't we want police officers who will be well paid to be able to do their job without taking money from somebody because they need that money and inducing them to corruption?
We do.
Don't we want good teachers who will stay and teach in one school instead of doing 2-3 schools? Some of them, they teach in one school from 8 to 12 or to 1. They put it at school door, and then in the evening they are teaching other kids at home to make ends meet. Don't we want to give more money to those people as well?
Yeah.
Don't we want the nurse who works 6, 8, 10 hours in a hospital? instead of going to another hospital, another clinic,
Yeah.
don't we want a doctor instead of doing, we have doctors who are running from hospital and clinic to other. Because the same thing. And let's look at it this way, to be honest with ourselves. The judiciary are not doing badly.
Yeah. They're not doing
If
badly.
you are a judge today,
Yeah.
your salary is not bad, one.
Oh.
Two, you have an official car all the time. You have a driver, you have a security officer, you have a house that's furnished for you, you have utilities paid, etc. Those fringe benefits alone are significant. Let's be fair to each other. George Nyimbanko can be, he has an oddly. He or she has an oddly, they have security at home. We are paying for that, the taxpayer.
Yeah.
You can buy a well-furnished house. They give you utilities here, free of charge. You pay a telephone bill, Jola. You have your 2-month annual leave. August, September, the judiciary is in recess.
Yeah.
And unless you are a vacation judge,
Yeah.
you are on recess as well. So 2 months in there, you have leave.
Yeah.
So let's be honest, under the Gambian situation right now, that's not bad for anybody. And then near retired, you continue with those things. More retired than Gambia government, a motor dealer, a sword dealer, a security dealer for life. And
the rest of the deal for now.
exactly. So what I do not understand, in addition to all of that, the Economic Chief Justice retired, he retires with 100% of his salary, his last salary. Why? Even the president's bill,
that has been edited.
is like 75%.
75% and all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why does Chief Justice have to go with 100%?
But that's what I'm saying. It has, if it goes to consideration stage, they can edit that.
They can edit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the point is, it's not a question of editing it. For me, it's a question of deferring this until the economy gets better.
Yeah. Okay. That is something understandable. But my issue, another issue is Wolongo. Daure Jallo, the draft constitution, me aronko bankola kodo tataji 100 million taxpayers' money. Atataji, it was thrown out. And this judicial bill is part of the constitution, draft constitution.
Yes.
And then other bills, so the community killing, are all part of the draft. Now,
you.
if they are interested in, I have nothing against the judiciary. And like I said earlier, I am in for having a pension scheme for all Gambians, and the judiciary included. But would it not be right for Daure Jallo to bring back the draft constitution as it is, and then let the National Assembly do what they're supposed to do, edit, or if it goes to referendum, Gambia will decide. That way, we know we are taking care of the judiciary, we're taking care of everyone else, including the election bill, because we will talk about the election bill. Abenun National Assembly, abenun draft konon, iba bondi kanje, iba natika from a stand alone. Everything else is coming as a stand alone, and government will be daring.
Because more long.
Why is that? Ibe fingo be natika piecemeal, but the draft ni land.
So,
especially this bill, second time tiba natika in a year.
So let me get to that.
Yeah.
Niye wolu be bondi je piecemeal ye wol samba ye adopt. There is no more urgency to adopt the constitution. You can put the constitution aside until hell freezes over. There's no rush. Take out all these important sections ye be adopt. But if you take the right approach, your constitutional sambanang now adopt, all of these things will be settled.
Yes.
We will be able to amend in Parliament some of those issues. Because you are penalizing the whole of the Gambia. Because those judicial officers' bill and the salaries and other emoluments and entitlements the National Assembly bill is attached to it as a sweetener. So, alinyum paso nga fananta pass nyola. So, National Assembly Bill Jube. Look at the schedule. It's scandalous. The Speaker goes home with $1.2 million a year. Okay? In addition to that, he has home to office transportation, $600,000. Not $60,000, $600,000 home to office transportation. What, he takes a plane? And we've given him a car. He gets fuel coupons. So why are we paying him $600,000 for home to office transportation? Why are we paying him $240,000 for responsibility allowance? No, it's not responsibility, professional allowance. What professional allowance is that? He was a teacher, for God's sake. How many teachers are paid $240,000 a year? Amasia. Salary, maybe salary, not forget the professional allowance. So why is he getting $240,000 professional allowance? Why is he getting responsibility allowance of God knows how much?
And at the end of his term,
$260,000
he gets
responsibility
almost
allowance.
over $3 million is for his pension.
That's the gratuity.
That's the gratuity, yeah.
So Neo Baker Funyama for the speaker. At the end of his 5-year term, he walks away with about $19 million.
Wow.
Almost $19 million. And you can add, at the end of 5 years, we give him a gratuity of 25% of that amount.
Yeah.
So he walks away with more than $4 million on top of the 19.
Yeah.
When the average policeman gets less than $6,000 a month, less than $70,000 a year. And the speaker does that. Why is the speaker so important for that?
He's the number three in the country.
So what? Go to Scandinavia, go to Sweden, go to Denmark, those places, the administration, they take the train. We give this guy a car. We give him then transport allowance of $600,000. What? Are these only people who in the Gambia who are deserving? Why can't you break that down and give some of it to the policemen, to the teachers, to the nurse, to the doctor, to the... Come on, man. In addition to that, his deputy, the speaker, speaker, walks away with almost $700,000 a year. And then you have all sorts of allowances on top of that. And that's the same thing for the majority leader, the minority leader, and their deputies, and the NAMs, etc. Why do we need to give all of that money to those people when the rest of the Gambians are starving? When people are finding it difficult to put 2 meals a day on the table? It's unconscionable. It's not acceptable. Look, power comes with responsibility. When you have power, you have to exercise responsibility and be content. These people were elected by the Gambian people to look after their interest. They shouldn't be looking after their own interest alone and forget the Gambian citizens. For God's sake, is Mr. Kajali and Kofana, Khojam Bombe and Nyaling who elected you to take care of their interests, not to go there and just cater for yourselves. In addition to that, we give these people land in Yundum. We give them money to build those lands. We pay them constituency allowance of $240,000 a year and whatnot. Look, at some point, decency requires you to say, basta, it's enough, okay? No more of these things. And to compound it all, the judicial officers and the National Assembly members, their pensions are going to be paid from the consolidated fund. Why not Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation? Every pensioner gets paid from Social Security. Why do they get paid from the consolidated fund? Why can't their pensions be transferred to Social Security? That will force them to make sure that Social Security works better. Social Security is not functioning. They brought Mohamed Manjang to turn it around. He turned it around, they kicked him out. And we are back to square one. Make sure that their pension is paid to the Social Security Fund. Then they will do the proper oversight of the Social Security to make sure it works. These are the sort of things I say, just like the $60 million they give themselves for treatment abroad. Because if you take that and plow it into the hospitals and make sure that they get treatment in Banjul, what's it called again, RBH, and Kanifing and Demban, they will put money there and make sure they work. But if they have $60 million to go get treatment abroad, they don't care about the hospitals. You won't go to RBTH and find Barrow or his ministers getting treatment there. They go get treatment abroad. Every Gambian goes to die there. That's not acceptable. You see, these things have to work for all of us. It cannot be taking care of a small minority at the expense of the rest of the Gambians.
So, but another thing that also caught my attention in the bill is the Judicial Service Commission
Yes.
create promotions and send it to the Office of the President for approval.
Right.
And the President either edit or send it to the National Assembly for consideration and approval, right? But in this bill, if the Judicial Service Commission recommends promotions or salary scale for judges and judicial officers, it goes to the President's office for approval,
Yes.
meaning the National Assembly will not have a say in that.
Yes.
Is that something that
No.
is concerning for you?
Absolutely.
Because at least the National Assembly approves every other person's salary, including the President.
Yes.
So if the judge's salary is only stops at the President,
And the President, and then they tell you within 3 months of initiating that process, the President has to sign up. So they put him under pressure to sign. So he who pays the piper calls the tune. So if the judiciary's salaries and the rest are dependent on the President, they will do what the President wants them to do. The President should not be taking care of the judiciary's salaries. It's supposed to be a co-equal branch of government. So if you give the President authority over them to decide their salaries, to sign it, to increase or what.
Are you saying that affects their independence?
Of course it affects their independence. Because your salary is a major component of your career. And it along with the salary, the name President man contain at the salary increase. Sa veto no. So your salary as a judge, as the judiciary, that's President will put President will approve. That's why we have the Judicial Services Commission. The Judicial Services Commission
recommends and it goes to the National Assembly for approval, just like every other person.
Yes, yes. But even that should have been an exception because see, those are the flaws in this system.
Okay.
Because all of these things, there should be an administrative branch, like we have PMO, which decides salaries and everything for this government. You have something similar to that, working with the Judicial Services Commission to decide these salaries. And it should be pegged on the economy of this country, depending where the economy is. If the economy thrives, if the economy is in difficulty, be careful. But near even Parliament, the Parliament here control and approve, you're giving judiciary a minor role compared to Parliament. Parliament will have the authority over their salaries, and they're supposed to be co-equal.
Co-equal in governance.
Okay, so in the judiciary freely from the parliamentary control and approval of their salaries.
Okay.
So we should have a similar structure with PMO. You have like, okay, PMO is under government, so you might like, okay, get something independent and put it there to work with the Judicial Services Commission and make sure that these are independent-minded people who cannot be bought, who cannot be swayed to work with this, and that commission or committee, whatever it is, should be appointed, members should be appointed by government and the opposition. They should be vetted. People who are acceptable to all of those. So that we will have people of integrity. UDP, GD, say no. So government and opposition be the career at we'll agree on that. You're marrying point and they run these places. They run the salaries will determine, etc. No man can be Jojo Libe, person be a control. Malla fi walla. Malla president Jojo control, Malla fi parliament control. Ninga control. Abenabanal to lay press. I'll tell you security service, I'll control Banta, we are back to dictatorship.
Square one.
Wow. Now, Mr. Manjang, Ngaje, Kenya, I mean, I love the Gen Zs in Kenya. I mean, I've said it because at the end of the day, power belongs to the people. Ndol banku dingol len dolle karanga ta carte fay mole. But some of them will forget that, you know, after they're in office. Somehow some National Assembly members are behaving right now. But the pressure of the young people of Kenya are tinally be for the past 3 weeks constantly be protest. Now I saw somewhere and more like, no, this is riot. It is not riot. It only turns to be a riot when the police officers tear gas and shoot people who are protesting peacefully. Now it is guaranteed in our constitutions. In Gambia, Senegal, or in Kenya, the constitutional right the Gambian pour a protest. In fact, they can even protest without a permit. Natra PLB public addressing system. What they need the wala. You understand? But pre-finti from express war is guaranteed in our constitution. Walatina, ninga je molka foko, mol nyanteba la fok election wena ni lafta minkele yake route choose right. No, that is wrong. Nin Kenya dino liye batu no ni election or nata no tenum bi mimbe kere ngatekela. Today as we speak, the office of the first lady, Mia Longo, it was fully paid by taxpayers' money. The office of the second lady, and all of that, the president has scrapped. Didn't know demand in scrap. Again, in a salary increment for officials, including the MPs and government officials, Mia Longo inyanta effect la no last week le. President ya be cancel. The tax bill, min fango nyinko be wulindi. President ya scrap le ako amanta sign la, it's not going to be law. They got what they want. They did not stop there. They told him they want him to sack the entire cabinet because our cabinet, they are arrogant, they don't listen to people. These were their words. They said, you know, they were telling the president, he engaged them in the Twitter space. And I went to this Twitter space and I was listening. I could not believe some of the things that I was hearing. It's not that. These kids, they were telling the president, Mr. President, you lied to us on several occasions, and we don't trust you. They made him know they don't trust him. And they told him. And the president did not take offense that. He believed, the kids believed that he lied to them. Our campaign promises, he did not keep to it. And today, he fired the entire cabinet.
Yes,
that's what
he fired the entire cabinet and said he is going to build a cabinet around all political parties and all sectors of people, and these were his allies. But he knew now man demands will meet, and he had to. Now, we are not in any way comparing Kenya and Gambia. But we are saying that young people, Nimbanko and Nimbankudol Bay, Bankudingo Letang. Senegal, Niaja Falingo Kere B, Bankudingo Leake. Bankudol to Niaja Falingo Kere Bankudingo Leake. And no silo Jalfanana. We are not saying go make demands that are unreasonable. But we are saying that people should be free to be able to express themselves. And I think that is guaranteed in our constitution. That's why if anybody says don't, you know, it's violent, I don't think anybody should listen to that, because that is within anybody's right. Now, but when you look at what is happening in Kenya and what happened in Senegal, how did that motivate Allah Nyungrubo?
Yeah, it motivates us a lot. Because I go Kenya funding wale banku sama nyaro sending.
Yeah.
Actually, banku mako fo bilul mengo ye pass mandaturu. I'm more motivated a lot because even in our group near Senji from always ngam for December happen in Kenya, it same thing happened to the Gambia. The problem Kenya are facing is the same problem Gambia face kam. Unnecessary block capacity and government from daring. Gambia, the problem we have is ndol na political samba nyama correct. Na tribalize na ebugalum from Gambia political nya ebugalum from nyama from. Kenya stand together.
Yeah.
One in fight no. Gambia should do the same. Modou way they are already politically minded. And you go protest for a cafe no ndol mental protest kudo. Ndamage politician already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said a Gambia.
Mindset.
Yeah, the mindset Gambia is very bad. A youth, e yon passé na ka fen demanta politique ko imanta politique sa e be mun to say
politician wala kana domro balon
yeah
politician wala kana bilol ke luwal mas politician wala kana manoni na tulo ni jabol be da determine ni ko wonda political
yeah ka fo monta politique ka fo coming here to be in a protest does not mean that you are an enemy of the state kela nyanto fight amange comme you are enemy of the state but Gambia more understand most people more understand yeah but then million some people are from UDP NPP
yeah
but they are fighting for this. Yeah. So uma ratara patito fight no coming etunya je fo yenya kasala. Yeah. African president among maslaha need because they don't want imalefu wala. They only want it the hard way. Yeah. African president that's what all they need. Coming you're the man long. You must go to the hard way come to understand ko and then they are they are fed up because no more push to the corner abaton la na ton da kan so wo be ki Gambia something we just want them to check the bill ya jibil mon correct bondije let them consider everybody in the bill yeah it be considerable in yeah
and you know the case of Kenya for me is very important and symptomatic. I lived in Kenya where I represented the ADVs. When Uhuru Kenyatta came to power, I was in Kenya. And Ruto was his vice president. And we worked with those people. And when he came to power, there was a lot of hope that he would change the system around.
Yeah, where he comes from,
Exactly. Because same thing, he comes from that very poor background and he thought he would know the suffering of the people. At the time, he used to call himself the hustler.
The hustler,
Because he comes from that very poor background. So he should know better. But he came and he just got phagocyted into the same system. Kenya, near Kenya, Jube, the constitutional, and draft constitutional, it's based on Kenya, the constitutional. When I was in Kenya, I saw that constitution and I read it right through. Birmingham Tajan, when I say excellent. Look for no, it's too big, it's probably yes. But it is important to have that sort of thing. Even this for the independence of the judiciary, independence of the IGP, independence of the courts, maybe change that. Because like police will demonstration okay, have to go get a permit, be bully and everything will stop. Because permit should be an exception. The principle is every Gambian has the right to demonstrate. Na constitutionally adina. Freedom of expression. So the police should be there. Nibi demonstration purkana kali makoi, kali kenkeng. Alikana tinyarike, mokana boyal kamfana. Ningal da mabula tulsi kufang, yitai tinyarolik. Bula dulsi campagne na yali attack. Police on yantaraje udone kam. Pour kali kenke mo kana boyal kana tinyareke. Bari manya na kali bali match la. So the permit should be an exception. Normally, constitutional near constitutional applied 1997 constitutional near apply. If it ale permit on yin kai kon be demonstration ke la mita yin black arile. La sala alien guide. So they will come yali dendeng yal dandan yali kenke pour mo kana tinyareke. So a permit and the correction is going to be really hard. Maybe you need a permit for come wolf cafe indula car because you demonstration march pass etc. But permit is the principle, whereas it should be the exception. So when you constitution 1997 constitution draft constitution demonstration normally. Niye mo wala demonstration ke normally kele bika taraje so ko bika taraje tinyar bika taraje constitution la assembly na ko nimman kontani se fintino ngan na kontani baliya bitandi na balamba yake bari manta tinyaro la Gambia dingol le munti nga ñul tombo na nge sindi jembe jola ko di bala ni bula do ko wala ni mo do ko ke constitution la assembly nga nga fe ko ngal bula do ko minal make so la ta aliyo do ko ke tilimbali mal bala ni corruption la fa aliya bankatu malta o kama constitution sembo dinna mo sembo dinna police man means being come will baro ya katanya nyanya he's a democrat
He's the
tolerant la finger baro ma wo dinna fangol lenga o kelenga tam faye 2016 lenga o kelenga o soto baro ma wo dinna ni manke ko baro wol busil na sign with this election act, with the vetting bill and all these other bills in on cyber security, etc. It was a quarter. And we nyanta bala Nigeria long time murla 22 years back or 28 years back on the Jammeh regime.
Yeah.
Ndon te sonna kamuru waleto. So na right le munyinde. So Kenya didn't know je pinte yin keno o constitutional wale o sembo jilo warna yin keno. Ni wonte nu minka kila nu on the Daniel Arap Moy. Wala ken yata fa wala be kelale be finde kan e boy kay ye tiaga si e bouté
wala kelaya okay even with this constitution even though he deployed the army without going through the right way they went and challenged it in the courts
exactly
but by then mujama
fata unfortunately bari ne yata constitution to yenu do ni ko tala ke fa fo be sila e boriyete mabo but ni constitution on bije wala tane continue ka fight it's a court and they win because constitution is sembo dila wala na 2020 constitution nyanta kelo kala ya murna ya adopt
baro ko mbita referendum wala this by akodi zama
he hopes I will he hopes hope is not a strategy
okay
hope is not a strategy the strategy should have been 2024 January December be referendum wakila nyanta mbe kala mbe nakato dango kala pour ta referendum wala mbita opposition la ni singa kacha mbenga ñu constitution mbenga support ntolu bi mpareta pour ka support in UDP na ta ko ada constitutional support ba fala tambinga buleno because we want this constitution adopted
but say constitution o man nga min je wolon bills ol kana in bits and pieces president wala biro nata député ta nata joji sol tabe siloka ngaji election bill nata election bill. Let's look at the election bill.
Yes.
What do you think of the election bill? I mean, that's what we've been looking for. After bill kuto inana mi alkabe all the issues addressed la. Very last year hanim for being that all months alko yal sunya.
Yes.
Albe amuto wolto hanisai.
Hanisai.
Nim bilo mi alonko National Assembly abije yanta table laje. Did it address everything that you guys had concerns about? No. During the last election, Allah concerns did this bill. Mune be nyimpilo to me a red flag raised for the opposition, especially you guys, the UDP.
Because for us nyimpilo, amam fenne falling. Nyimpilo lafta menjela jenu. Ye IEC ya reform.
Okay.
IEC ning molbe football ola. Team fula be football ola.
Yeah.
Team kilo ite referee tombo. Imteganyeno. Ndeganyeno. Kontra referee tombo mbajo.
Yeah. In this bill, the president still appoints the IEC.
Still appoints the IEC chairman and everybody commissioners.
Okay.
So we can nyadile. Ning ikata goal ay foul. Ay toro fe foul offside etc. Alteganyeno. So IEC anyamta kala nyaming mile democratic system all soto. IEC ala chairman ko ngam fonyi commission bi ñetala pour judicial services kay makoy ala chairman ñenta kala multi yaran ko is independent and integrity is beyond doubt so opposition in government e deng e mo kilin tombo ni ko bi na fartureta mo be ha fartureta tewde atilintale adata politico to adata nyinto manson kudu yala manson tinyaro la manson corruption be wol be gabel jan o mo son bi jan ni nga tombo mo bi d'accord nga tombo na commissional tombo président fula tombo opposition dantan tombo
civil society ya tombo
parlementaire tombo civil society ya tombo etc mo be ya tombo commissioner sunyolo ya taraje mo kilin kana be tombo so ni nga tombo ke dalbi kambe mo sotno la jele ka to mo to sonna to sele ko kay sije mbenga fer ko molto mo milal ko tilintale milal ko amanta je politique sonko da mala ibi talje ko ka banko samba nyaato ka to yalon ko nyim banko kilo men bebul mo fsul tombo nga samba commissioner wala folode fulan jam laftal ñu election bill yeah for IEC the website londila mi yalon ko is functional and results will be published in real time. So technology is there, it's easy. Don't tell that imperator.
Yeah.
Me la fela ni fanali tada mi yalon ko electional ni ko polling station A ye bandi le nyene soto straight away
upload in the
jube mobe ya sign ya upload straight away. So mobe ya soto at the same time because the government soto on real time. Ika finyo kanala ta publish mal declare rebel. Ota declare rebel. But pro kanake if ali take so nim began ta soto beben ta upload la from the same raw material lemu. Election is a polling station order. Mimbita GDC, or bita DOI, or bita NPP, or bita IEC, or bita UDP. Bigger killing also. Because you can only sign moment you copy it.
Yeah.
To upload, IEC at upload, then you upload. So maybe tag in real time.
Yeah.
Name the result when you take a mistake. I change straight away. So in real time, the results will be based on. Then by 9 o'clock latest, election results will be parade. Left on IEC ya football killer.
Okay.
Left on ya foko IEC la yung current staff in BJ Kendila. Because they are all involved in the 2021 election fraud.
Entire staff?
Entire staff.
Or the commissioners?
The entire staff at the IEC office.
Oh, correct.
Well, maybe entire staff is saying too much. I'm talking of the managers there, the commissioners and the managers there.
Okay.
Okay. You cannot reform IEC the management.
Okay.
For your change. So we need to fall in there. Katunyaro itolle yake, itolle balantaka falling fanake.
Okay.
Because during 2021, han kabimbe noma, unko election result ala publish polling station by polling station mobe nyaji. Han kabe manke. That's part of the fraud. And when census member cake and thing, they are preparing the census in the way me alonko ay molu hakilo janjandi. Census be kala Gambia jang. Financed by the World Bank. Man na tablets yon sannom fayi do ko kala minna. Fon tata fu na Senegal. Nka Senegal la tablet on le use yam pour na census. Ni la tablet on yele Senegal la Jibos, equivalent Jibos in Senegal. We can waleje tablet lot. And we know Makisali minke Senegal la election result tambilal. Sorry, census results nyon. Ya tulunta la nyami. Nga je utumole sa tol do libije in 5 years the population will doubled. Sa te do libije mo wuli keme sababi jeno anin demanding. In 5 years, that will come over Tanan Nimfing. Yeah, double.
But I'll be there in Imbeka. Opposition.
Mba fokane.
Okay.
Mba fokane and the continual Kafufana and the election results from consensus results you and they are skewed, will go to court. We'll challenge it.
Okay.
Because you can fraud prepare wala nyam. Ni election tambila ngaji ko sate dolu bije meto fana fola. Ili yalon ko mo keme ninta lulle bije. Birin carte o fayta ila resolution tara mo wuli fula kemenani abotami fraud.
Okay.
So façon in census ka wolle legalize.
Okay.
So ni tare census ke resolution yoleke ita certain façon to iko hajan say mo wuli woro le bijam. So ni election waro site ko na keme no wuli sabal soto jam mo ta fala no iko ha ka census e afale wuli woro le bijam ko ta mo keme ninta luldo ne bije.
All the bije.
So we will be prepare can sign thing.
Okay.
So we will find be kelele. So electoral bill nyanta will be yelal no. Ka will be codify. Is sergeant means if you know sambanam banko kan yo bay. Means tilimbalia sambanam yo bay kato tilimbalia wala kana fitino sambana. So ninga o bay be fitino bay la.
Attestation below in time no fuje.
Exactly.
Attestation
nyanta out lola.
Because work at a problem bati ni last
attestation nyanta out lola because they are jibe jimba ko kam. Attestation problem in sambana atambita siya. Mo manyan na tala yen na kaytol soto because of attestation ita carte o fay. Ni attestation o dila alkalo nyanta dila le ni ata ila nyantole. Yeta Ministry of Interior. Yeta ID card da or immigration wherever card daji.
Yeah.
Yeta yela ID card da. You sort of bang. Then you go get your electoral voters card and other documents. But the main attestation dealer yes, so you tell a voters card da and then your passport and whatever. Because alkalo da malbe sila iko Lamin Manneh ha awuluta barajalile. So mbekato dilala.
So easy.
Nta wuluta nyomile nentare ko barajali ya sabe yadin. Nde bodam musu ko nyomile fa wuluta kaw. So nentare yo dila ita ya carte o fay. Bara ning aya tare attestation o dila ita Ministry of Interior ko fanani vetting ke anyama. Then they will be able to tell you what you okay, and also Ministry of Interior and the IEC ibejant voter rolls nyolu publish online sajam bengaje ni constituency card ni ward card ni village card military that is felenting so more I say I check no fire online. It's not difficult. Yeah. It's there. It's all computerized. I can online upload it. It will take you not even one day. And then upload. So then they see it and I okay, Kersirin wala bijilo matanga jube. Eta na mul kafunyoma mile jello ale ajube nalma mile suspicious like you go to revising courts quickly.
Yeah.
But you have to go and get those from court bori ta utajana ya photocopy ya natalina ya check. It takes time.
Yeah.
And the revising court period is very short.
It's very short, yeah.
Are published online.
Yeah.
And then we can all go and check and challenge what we need to challenge. So we'll be in electoral bill colony. Although not TJ. So these are the things we alonko, near GB alonko, ni electoral bill natal puruka the same things. Ka ulu codify, ke ratify, purunga si continue cooking.
Mr. Manneh, the thing is, I have some concerns also for the electoral bill, just like so many other people. But you don't have the numbers in the National Assembly. The government that is proposing this bill, they have the numbers.
They have the numbers.
And that is why it's important. Puru all the time, kakumaya ka niajibe to in America and others most of the time. If the presidency is controlled by the Democrats, they would want the
legislature.
They want, to
be controlled by the opposition.
Just to have a balance of checks.
Yes.
Because no one aka minna ti banko aka kolea balike because jama mbeka fengol jibe political lenses lela. Being the opposition, fe president and basakunda mulena ti as long as ito la bota barole ya drug ita vote la. Bari NPP mol fana hanni ya lonko nyuode apetata ba UDP kol we will not vote for it. So at some point it has gotten that political.
It's become toxic.
It's very toxic.
Yeah.
Now, ninging electoral bill passed. Then when it's solved, what is the difference with this and the other one? What is the difference to me right now?
Very little. Very little, because in the electoral bill is just codifying some of the bad practices in the past. And what we want is a clean break from those bad practices and do something different. Like if we're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results, it's a sign of madness. So nengo kanyinki koteke. Nka mimbori what nintu ko nganyidu falinga ko ke anyama. Nka fikino le boring ka wale bayi nyimbanko kan. Because kuru ya bambalo akana fitino le wuli. Mol da mol facilitare. Don't push people to the wall. Kenya wale BJB. Dindi wale kubasa munela. We don't want this bill. This bill has to go. Sai kamune for Ruto has to go.
Ruto must go.
And it's happening in other places.
Ruto bala cabinet be fired.
And yes.
Ruto ya ne ka kumula kana.
Yeah. And nimmolu pareta foi sister. There is no amount of repression in samana mimbe ofalina. Because police will mean ka otiaga so fa kesol fa na dute, they will turn against you the government. Because if you don't ni barindingol ni signal le bunkidol. Yeah. At Laban, they will turn against you, and we don't want that chaos in our country.
Before I come back, and it was very interesting. The funny thing is, these young people are fighting for the police. Police or personally, agricultural personally, but it's going to be the same police. Gas file yet still, it is that same police that people are fighting for in Kenya. Police all me didn't all far. Gas file they are going to pay the same equal tax just like that ordinary Gambian or youth. And most of those youths don't even have a job. Being idle, some of them, they were saying, thank God, now they're all jobless just like us. The good thing is, the good thing for them, they have more money, they have stealing more from us, but they are also jobless like you. Now, you're fighting a system. You're fighting it or correcting it for you and other people. But among the people that you're correcting for, oppressed. Does that deter you? Those are those things that come to mind at some point to say, you know what,
yeah, it happens. I've been there the reason why we get the permit, the people who are screening us. We put it up to them the kilo plato level. It's for you people. Until we are not working, we are going to school. And then I don't think there is anyone going to school. Being student already. So I think you will understand. These people screening us one permit demol. Yeah, because I'm afraid to kilo plato level. Because I can't well already they are millionaires. Already the world they are rich. The judiciary, the parliament, to be honest. But I was working at a bank. I was working at a bank. When they pay these soldiers, or time we can police we can say kamaji. Yes, I for you. Yeah. So we put that to them that Nimpratolem is for you people and the Gambians. So Amanjala Kamol didn't permit. Yeah.
Other concerns that were raised during the campaign, during Lafenko, you guys were using words that were unpleasant. I think a colleague of ours said you guys were saying sache, and she felt that was a little.
You go sungo. Among the city, a casunyaro go sungo. So we feel that that's what they are doing. Because they are so lemuri and that jabila was I mean for an opinion all of and people are also saying their opinion against her.
Yeah, that's her opinion, yeah.
So sign then I'll opinion for it, so people are also saying their opinion against her.
And if you look at the economic vandalism, because maybe is economic vandalism, they are destroying our entire economy.
Yeah.
They are selling everything that we have.
And right now we don't even have power.
Yeah. Exactly, it's the same everywhere.
It's either you are on solar or you are on generation.
Is very cool, we do everything fine. But today we are all sweating.
We are all sweating because we cannot put the AC on.
Exactly. If you do, you don't put from
an supply of those.
Exactly. This is backup power.
Yeah.
After 59 years of independence, we cannot produce enough power for our country.
Yeah.
I saw something this
But no, now we call in 2026, they will regularize electricity.
We've been hearing that forever. So this I become a doubting Thomas with these people. Look, why do you have to wait till 2026 to fix this problem? We can fix this tomorrow. Tomorrow. Now, published recently that up to now, the power requirement is 78 megawatts. Out of that, we are producing only 4 megawatts. 2 of the Brikama stations are producing nothing because they are in trouble, broken down. Kotu is producing nothing. Brikama 1 is producing 4 megawatts. Brikama 2 and 3 are producing 0. We are getting 45 megawatts from Senegal. This is a publication Because Watson Gambia, I trust those people because they vet their sources.
They're doing an amazing job.
Exactly.
Amazing.
They do a fantastic job for this country, and we all owe them a salute.
Yeah.
And this is from Watson Gambia. 45 megawatts is coming from Senelec. 19 or 29 megawatts is coming from Kerr Power.
Yeah.
Gambia only 4 megawatts. That's a disgrace. After pumping hundreds of millions of dollars into NAWEC, we are still at that point. Look, if we just take the money we're wasting and stealing and embezzling every day in these ministries, we can build solar power plants in this country in less than a year. We don't have to wait for 2026. By the end of 2024, we can generate at least 30 to 40 megawatts in solar power. Why can't we do that? Why can't we try to harness River Gambia and produce hydropower? Why can't we build some wind farms and try to get wind power? Whilst NAWEC deals with these problems. Why do we have to wait till 2026? And 2026, they'll move the goalpost again. They say, 2027. That's what they keep doing. Because this president has promised so many things which never materialized. Sona, he said 90% of the Gambia has water. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Because we don't have water.
Yeah.
They don't have power. What do you do for this country? So, whilst the people are suffering, some people are living it up big.
Yeah.
Ajube failed OIC summit
Yeah.
and we are going to pay for that.
We're paying.
You and I and everybody else are going to pay for those cars.
Yeah.
$12 million equal 12.5 million per car. Or that 100 they delivered 87 or 89. We are going to pay for that, the Gambians.
Yeah.
And they are enjoying it. On top of that, they're giving themselves fat salaries and allowances, and what the allowances usually are 2-3 times the salaries because the allowances in the Gambia are not taxed. So they give themselves small salaries and huge allowances to escape tax. That's tax evasion.
Yeah.
It's illegal. What's happening there is becoming legal. So we're having all of these nightmare scenarios in the country. Education has failed. Health has failed. Agriculture has failed. Utilities have failed. Just name it.
Just name it. And then
they tell you you are angry. Of course we are angry.
And they said we are doing well. But the minister also clarified we are running out of time. But I go, Jar Oil, because the other time my question was, we do know Jar Oil trade in oil business and also cement. I've never seen them in food commodities.
Food production.
And of course, the loan was earmarked to ease Kodomoro data la Bangkoka. Pour mean that affordable and available. But Jar Oil mantare because nena mamo man wa phone tulo. But minister ko before Eid, the mano natila tulo and they sold it at below market price.
Even if that happened, I doubt it happened because I said just before Eid and it was high. It was 2,250.
Yeah.
But even that it will be maybe for 1-2 weeks they move back to place, back to normal. Ni left out data lala. It $50 million don't badea yadi Amidou Jala.
Ikati da male criteria ni miss.
Wale yenyadu na walto. I was working for the African Development Bank.
Yeah.
And communicate all the time. That those $50 million is supposed to go into an on-lending operation. On-lending operation. Then go for the $50 million star, and I break into lots. You don't need to give all $50 million to one person. In fact, you don't do that because the risk is too high. If that person defaults, we have $50 million for Nigeria. We have $116 billion in debt in the Gambia. And $50 million now can take. So, $50 million, you break into lots. They want to help Jar Oil, give him $5 million. Maru Farms is there. They have proven themselves. Give them $5 million. That's the student gentleman is there. Give him $5 million. These are who we call the master farmers.
And other
Okay? Give those people maybe a total of $10 to $15 million. The remaining 35, you distribute it between farming communities in the country. Because Eminkebi, Jar Oil is going to get $50 million and it's going to employ people who are going to be laborers on those farms and who are going to stay poor. But Neo Kodota, ya tala wolte la foire yalla liberesi yalla kala jala kunkolto ye jo karifa jolla bega salary ko hawle joja so be jola foire ya salary la be lo foire yalla ko foye fa bar ni ko do ta ya tala mol tema yeta jahali pacha for example yek Senegal de ko say al dana ngali makoy mbal don tula 500,000 or $1 million. Ala cooperative okay. Jahali pachar jam. Ngali makoy tractor. Ali senoke al family. They work for themselves. You give each one 1 hectare, 2 hectares. You konkol sote fay ya seno. Ya sene. Niya wafi ko soto je. I keep saying that near 1 hectare do kuja with Nerika rice you can get 10 tons of rice per hectare. 10 tons of rice per hectare is 250 kilogram bags. And you some kilo $1,000 is drum. You get $200,000 from 1 hectare. New do 2, 3 times, 4 times in the year, to irrigation and the rest. You have $600,000 to $800,000 from 1 hectare. Nimi one hectare. Jarenu 5 hectares doku. Aman keno lesoro. So the way, okay, next year, and he will start getting rich. That's how we lift people out of poverty into wealth. Barniya sa jalebe tala Muhammadu jakane doku nibito liberesi yalla hamidu yalla kunkulta foye fa. Imako ifanaleke fenti oti balu ifaye. You give them that possibility. So ni all don't to kodola ya talantala itema ye don't to different communities. They all produce rice and they will produce rice better because they are family. They become food self-sufficient, they become wealthy because they can sell the surplus. And in the Gambia, instead of importing $200 million of rice and oil per year, we will save that money to import substitution. So that $200 million is still getting invest somewhere else. So the $50 million will lift every year tens of thousands of Gambians out of poverty. That is what you should aim for. Not give it all to one person, increase the risk for all of us, and even if he doesn't fail, he will be extremely rich and have a monopoly, and then he will employ just laborers on his farms and pay them miserly salaries. They will stay poor. They just get enough money to survive. We don't want them to survive, we want them to live properly with their families.
And the other thing the trade minister also addressed at the National Assembly is the cement issue. Yes. They are not, there is no tax increment on cement from Senegal. He says, instead he clarified that there is an excise tax on imported bag cement, regardless of its origin. And again, a measure doesn't target any specific country that would constitute to discrimination, considering the low level of industrial sector performance and the benefits associated with industrialization, particularly in the area of employment and technology advancement. This constitutes a compelling reason for a paradigm shift in policy approach to national development, especially within the context of integrating our economy into global economy and in particular into the sub-regional economy, he said. The trade minister highlighted the need for strategic policies that support industrial promotion, including protection measures like higher tariff on imports. This approach aims to give local manufacturing firms a competitive advantage, enabling them to grow, increase productivity, and benefit from the economy of scale. I mean, that's what we said here.
It's total contradiction. It's just a meaning, Safi. He's trying to fool the Gambians, going with this high-sounding language, Modou understand, and fool them.
For National Assembly.
Yes, but it's total gibberish. There's nothing to in this, and it's full of contradiction. One We don't have a cement industry in the Gambia.
Yes.
We have a bagging company in the Gambia, 3 bagging companies. One.
Yeah.
Are we integrating into the regional economy?
Yeah.
We're not integrating into the regional economy. Because if we're integrating into the regional economy, we'll buy the Senegalese cement ECOWAS origin and we promote ECOWAS. We're importing it from Europe.
Yeah.
So we're not integrating into the regional economy. We want strategic policy and a paradigm shift. The paradigm shift should be moving away from extroverting our economies to the outside world in Europe, etc., and coming local. So it also requires supporting our local businessmen, not killing them.
But they're protecting the industries here so they can have more productivity.
There is no industry. There is no industry. There is a bagging company, 3 bagging companies, there is no cement industry in the Gambia. So the same people Senegal with their tankers and buy the same cement, come and bag it here and sell it here. 1. 2, JA has a special investment certificate, an SIC, which exempts it from some taxes. And these people are paying those taxes. 3, these people are employing more people than JA. Aggregate, they have about 3,000 employees. JA has about 800 employees. So they employ more people. 4, you want to create competition, which is going to bring prices down. You don't give a monopoly to one person, then immediately this is what we call dumping. He will kill off the competition, and then he has a monopoly. He will sell at whatever price he wants when he has the monopoly. You don't do that. These local Gambians, at one point, I'm at back with 90% are foreign. It's not true. They are all Gambian. I met these people, I sat with them, I listened to them. This Senegalese farm, which is selling to them, they cannot sell it back in Senegal. It's not true.
No.
Because when they go to Senegal, they buy this cement. They pay TVA, TVA is French, tax sur valeur ajoutée, VAT.
Yeah, VAT.
They pay VAT in Senegal. They're supposed to pay VAT in Senegal if you're selling there. But because they are exporting it from Senegal to the Gambia, they don't pay VAT. They're exempted from VAT.
From that,
They're supposed to pay VAT here. But in Senegal, to make sure that they don't sell it in Senegal without VAT and be more competitive than the local seller, because they'll be selling it without tax, you have to pay a deposit of the VAT amount. The next cement to Fintin. If they're at the border, the Senegalese customs will stamp that you brought 200 bags from Senegal free of VAT. They check, you have 200 bags here stamped. It's come out of Senegal. You come and sell it here. When you go back, you present that paper.
You get paid.
So they don't even get paid.
Oh.
They tell you, okay, so if the cement is out, fine. So you let VAT, we will give it to you in cement again. So you use that VAT to buy more cement, or you leave that VAT there as a deposit
for the next trip.
For the next trip. So you buy more cement to bring here. So you cannot take it back, because if you take it back to Senegal, you have to pay VAT. That's why they cannot take it back. So like na, you can go hire ni so somebody come to Senegal from la because kami wa from better same quality la even kiri wallet.
I mean, the constructor more ka for Senegal cement you left the one.
Yes.
And in Jata, I mean.
And kola for nam, you multi mi ya lonko. Gambia dingol lemu. Itata bank doli bije e julubal taji. Yalo na bank juli julo taji lankango keme tannin se lankata fu wannin fula. Ye wolta ye lankango la soto ye e motolu sang. Kay sanso sanjanne itulle kay sanso fanga wafi jañolu amidu ja mohammed ja and all ele sanso ka wala sabarka sanga bejan ka taxo jo akanjam so do ka taxo jo le sanso fanam fawto not just cemento kay sanso min sanja ka taxo jo jele ja ko taxo jo because esa sil le babul so li ota yena o motol sang yo do ko la jam be gambe dugol do ko ndile be jola ke pit ko soto lalto kamil supply mo fambe do ko kraje so wole ke la mo buli sabo mi yate ko do ko ke so ka ko do jowol betole o kola fanan dol bije ila baron mi banta mil be diaspora ni ko do kafun ñom ya ta ya kiyena wala moto sanje ya kiyena ko aliñin do ko ni say fana sindi juno do mandi kadu Gambia bi diaspora le mi mbata ni mo diaspora ya ko man dukare mako ba ni o balan ko kini fana fo ye fam mako no fana si kayro so to jodo mandi so wol kawo kewne so liyo beke iko wona business so befa so mi julota ba ka maso no ibna lay bala mo totala ndama si la cordata diaspora ko the same thing so wol do batal le kono so man la fi wolle la so ni wol tanki ni wol ko business so ke pour fanale daha banko nyaata so fanale nyaata so ni wol bali wala ye Gambia di wol le batande e Gambia government le bali taxo fanale to e kamen fo taxo me ni ka taxo le jola ja and di la competition ke abe jil and one thing mo si mira men na fana covid wato no jabi ka semento sabano nan ibika samano nan because of covid restrictions means small imports no kara Senegal ka semento sanka samana ja wala man fo semento no wato nin sama keta dole bi jibka do ko keno so ñu lek semento sambana but hati ma beke fang Gambia do like everybody else it right so to le nyan tolemu ka bisiso ka nyimbanko kala banko kan ka nyato taso to je ka tum man sakunda nyanta men ka tawlan ka banko diwlu be fanka ma yande ka mo bondi fuare ya kono mo be lo ka to ngi tawole ka man ke jo mo ni mi yal tay bal jola nyum kodi bal be nyum to bal dilal albe dol sunyala o bebe bu nyere nga kan ali wole fana de balu al kan la bisiso fa
I hope government looks at this policy very well because in sector lo
kum fala dami yo beke yes Senegal fana ma kelo la katu ila business soli ila company men ka simento wafi ika wala fana kele sai so ika fa la butun sa la business on tamala ja andu mbiri makki bi jang yebula le mbe diata yakki jang jomay yana nanin sonko do ñun commencé bi mu ne fa la han ke bi ni makilam ikam tolle ken
wol mu kela la wol bu
andum bulobe wol da kono
wol bu ka fa nga soma bu la
yes bulobe da kono iko ma ke be bulokin
bante
because na kuranka bu jël more than 50% of na kuranka bu Senegal ayube bi be kuran problème kono Senegal da bi je mais jo few weeks ago 2-3 weeks ago ngejo 9.1 million euro italiano so bejo kam mamba hankabi ni wole mbal kuran be kala nyaade do be ka fenkem fay na security force ni wale control Senegal so tul manya na Senegal mala kilo la tem because ni nyantal ni ko pret mbadi wallemu bari fanam be tembo be sula de yalla fanam ne ku kenga lom faye because nyantal lom faye we cannot depend on Senegal eternally nyantal lom faye gam faw wasa.
But it has to be gradual.
Bari, exactly. Kana kile sa ite mi win nola. Ni kilo ite ni win nola.
Okay.
Ni Senegal yi dete. Mbele be torala. Man sula wala. Because memo Gambia de wala lafta Gambia da hasodo Gambia da hasodo. Ikana kile wuli ni mi simbe batande. Ndumbe o tembol to sain. Ni Senelek kam fata yela kurango stop kanana ja wala ya talan bela batale bi batale kono bi. Exactly.
Finally, atol sila mune way forward. Albe mune kukono sila. Albe mune preparation la. Is this more now like a pressure group or organization? Alla tlonya mune design ba ko ba bi ali alfa mo proof le. Ali demonstration o kelemi anko peaceful. Alla message data police solial kenkeng al nyanta minkela ali ake peacefully, and a lot of Gambians applauded that and doing most fana considering associate nyami now nyumu mun group si falde now pressure group lombang abe continue la nyisi fala albang for is a one of thing
na ndola group Gambia bulo yeah, we are in the hearts of Gambians ide tanga ngafinti we will go out again. Yeah, we will not only go out because we just want to go out. Comme nga findire kavo dafa findire rek no. Be findire mo wotare ko mo prefindi. Ite mo push that then yebule da mayata. Na man le fosi vala. I have talked with my executive members nga for coming this not a group me register now. For some people are telling us can register. Yeah, group register with government I mark you. Ndol we are just young people who are going to school. I understand. So kafo group register no. It's just a pressure group coming concern the Gambia Kula rek. Yeah, even the bill near pass. We will go back to the people again. If they want us to go out, we are going to go out. Okay. Yeah. Ndolo mo le block rek. Yeah.
Okay. Zamane watu ubantale kashaka dia baki bar watu ubantale lafta mne dila sarwa.
Lafta bin dila yalo manjanyo laf mo bira ba fa ko jel ko mbede ila nyintu demonstration ol.
Ha we de rinje.
Andu mantaje fanan. Because ñing funding kew leñi lead to leñi ñaton kaya nin tol tata jenum bi kunu ulunu
example politique
mo be si borna mi samane mun mira mi sakare mun mira etc ñu leñi ko ñaton kaya ka to yalla nako bi ñim banko ka do ko ke tolle
ade
sama ñu lem banko ñaton kolde ñu lem banko tiyolde ni wulta bi ko na banko be na kero ko na banko gondi na longi be ndonga to koma bi bloko sila na to ala baraka ngani ni ibe min kala yake to lindum to tun tajewe ton it's like we are trying to recuperate ila kelo you know nga kentati to dum manyinke ito le nyinke ila the credit is due to them to nga suna kama nan ci mandu ñun bayyi len di def li ñoo def parce que ñu ñoko jité ngi bula yake and on ko salon ko sayinde mo bele nyin kelota woni ke fana ba keloka so de men fa ba wato banta sayin wala man sakunda nyim bata men ba kono ten itolle ala Gambia kan andi tulo abula Gambia kan ade abo Gambia kan sayin be ngada hasudo do manding wala 2026 ay bon campagne kan 2026 batambe moka mota fola moy kote mobe aje fayele 2026 molte carte fayele nyeka to batambe la molka kanyantale bari banko be temelto miliya lonko hani kabi si fere keno nga talado man nga kultala nga batata la moluka isi wo kenole ni wo kedo manding at least yani 20 mol si ni jino do manding bari fu aref salta meto o man koy nim molta de borta fu dakata bunkulu wala ta la ko tentije ka murne kan andu mom mo na fanyim banko kan so nga fere ke mi yalo kon kana fito temboto nin iterbe ke kuring e nyinata ko mondo bu batarinne andu wolle ye sindije pour yedo ko keye ni ke ko murle kan nan de andu mo malla fi mo na fa malla fi ga futa wole ton ko la lokatu diamu la wati wala nga fadindiroke baro salon ko milikanyil faye wolle baata ma koy kan ninga duta fa duta mili ba bebe tale ya tuje e jamme tu janne andu mili ba febi wolle jamme do problème ko biri jamme borte be sawte site satata ya ne fa ne problème soto iba to lajere sawta dula do nyini ate taw problème ko anyanta lo da ko kuno si wona dan mi ya la fate wolon ate ya jube mi mal la fati ayoke wallahi laftale na nyim banko momo nya rongo ni jita ita ron kayro ko na nyim banko kan ko fole wati o wati andum baro si o keno a fayele ayo kedu kare be ngada hayi banko kan
barka bake Mr. Manneh barka bake Mr. Manjang. We look forward to hearing from you guys sometime just to look at what is happening in the country. I hope most likely in positive ways, and you know, congratulations also on the protest. I think it's worth it, and you know, as young people, sometimes ka finti nan kala opinion o londi banko so ma funding kel dam nim funding kel investor into what is happening in the country. It only shows ko future bijere minu nyanda kel alfalti so ma ye dadum banko la koto you know apetiatale you know momang protest ka foka na violent moma le fola but nim ke bal ka diam wato because ngami jena game cool kono ke bal ka diam funding kel we la side le ka diam. So the fact that funding kel now are getting engaged, that is a good sign. I think woku mayatale umu nyato cold, and I think mansakunda fo nyanta nying upload la kata ni wow funding kel are interested in what is happening in the country. They want positive changes, and I think that is very encouraging.
Engage
to engage them and have a conversation. I hope the speaker engages you guys, and
we're hopeful.
Yeah, you're hopeful. Yeah, hopefully that will be very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, until we come your way next week, Mr. Manneh, thank you, and Mr. Manjang, and to the technical team.
Thank you.
And to our team, the first part was really crazy. I don't know, Charles, you formatly used no. The pictures were zooming out, but it came out better now. We're sorry about that if you're watching this show. Good night to you all. See you again next week. Bye-bye.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future that we inspire. Our new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We are moving away from the navy and gold-colored parallelogram-shaped logo to our baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The striking outline of a baobab tree at sunrise is a familiar sight to anyone who has spent time in the Gambia. Our new logo and visual identity are inspired by our core values and spirit of being a pioneer in providing a unique banking experience. It is a completely new look that better matches the transformation we have made as a company. But we remain your Trust Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to present to you our new logo and corporate identity.